Baltimore, and today we're talking about the very reason that we celebrate Black History Month in the first place. In February, let's get into it. So, this gentleman here is named Carter G. Woodson, and he and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History are the reason that we celebrate this month. It started in the U.S., Black History Month did, as Black History Week. Carter G. Woodson, Mr. Woodson, felt that Black history had been neglected in American history books, and it had and still is. So as a historian, he not only wanted to know this information for himself, he wrote a whole book about it, but he wanted to share it far and wide. So in his words, he said, "If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated." So they chose, I believe it was the second week of February, because both Abe Lincoln and Frederick Douglass were born in that same week. They started with an emphasis on teaching Black history in public schools, and they wanted to ensure that if children were learning it, then the population would learn it. That's kind of how you get information into a population. You start with the kids. Lukewarm response was what he received in 3 states and a few cities like Baltimore, in the DC area. But by 1929, the state education departments in the states that had quite a few Black people or significant Negro population almost all observed it. And they were sharing literature with teachers and with students. And even the churches that were local and Black organizations started to support and promote it, because it was really a marketing effort at that point to get the word out. This is what we are wanting to do. This is the reason why you should get on board. So the next thing that happened was that Black History Month was the next step. So they had first proposed a month of Black history among the Black educators and student union at Kent State University, and this was in February of 1969. And the first celebration took place at Kent State 1 year later, and it was from January 2nd to February 28th. So it ended up being a 2-month-long affair in 1970. 6 years later, Black History Month was being celebrated all across America in educational institutions, in centers of Black culture, in community centers that were large, that were small, and then it was officially recognized by President Ford in 1976. In the Black community, this was very exciting. Finally, they were hearing not just from their family members, from their grandmas, what the history, what contributions Black people had made. It was finally something that was more accessible and wasn't just relegated to the family or to their own particular community. So it started history clubs, and other teachers were getting interested, progressive white people. Oh, what an interesting term. So it made its way beyond America. In 1987, the UK adopted Black History Month. And in 1995, it was Canada. And it was through Jean Augustine, a motion that she passed as a politician, and I believe through the House of Commons. It finally happened, and it was work for her to do. I watched an interview of hers with the Toronto Black Film Festival, I think it was just 2 days ago, and she was saying how she had to ensure that it wasn't debatable what she would be presenting to the floor. She had to know that there would be absolute success or there would be no point in bringing it up. So she had to do the legwork in advance, going and speaking to specific members of parliament to ensure that they were on board, so that when she presented it officially, publicly, that there would be no friction, that it would actually come to pass without debate or argument. So a lot of work there. So we can thank Jean Augustine for having Black History Month here in Canada. That happened in 95. And then, as I mentioned, Ireland in 2010. So those are the 4 main places where it's celebrated kind of in an official capacity. And it was primarily in educational institutions, and then it went out into corporate and different places where it wasn't just schools anymore. So Carter G. Woodson's dream really took on a life of its own. And the question is, where are we now? Is this something that we are going to see continue, or will it be something that fades? What can we do today in the spirit of Black History Month to support it? Is there some other way that we can take another angle at it? What does this bring up for us? I challenge all of us to take a stand and decide what this month means and how we can use it to support and to edify Black culture, Black entrepreneurs, Black artists. I love the support that was coming forth within this past year. And it doesn't need to be just in one month. It can be at any point in the year, just knowing that a subjugated group can use all the support it can get. So today we learned about the origins of Black History Month. If you enjoyed the program, hit the like button, share it with a friend, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and remember that we look back so that we can look forward to a future that's better than the one that we came from. I'll see you tomorrow, or sooner than that, when we'll talk about another important figure, person, or event in Black history. Wherever you're watching from, on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, I'm Faith Amour, and I want to thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.